Sri Caitanya Bhagavata, Chapter 3, December 28, 2013, Calculating Nimai Pandit's Horoscope. The demigoddess Aditi blessed Nimai Pandit. Chirakala Pritivite Karaha Prakash Atteva Chirayu Baliya Hailahas. Aditi desired that Lord Gauranga would always remain on this earth planet, and therefore she smiled as she blessed Nimai with the words, "Live a long life." Apurva Sundari Sabha Shachi Devi Deke Varta Jignashite Karo Naise Muke. Although Mother Shachi saw the beautiful demigoddesses there in her house, she was too shy to ask about their identities. Sachira Charana Duli Laya Devigan Anande Shachira Mukhe Naise Vachan. The Devigan, the groups of demigoddesses, Laya Charana Duli Shachi, they took the dust from Shachi Devi's feet, and Shachi became speechless out of joy. Anande Mukhe na vachan. No words came from her mouth due to the extreme bliss in her heart over the appearance of her beautiful son Nimai. Kivananda haile se Jagannatha gare Verite anantataha varnite napare. The happiness experienced in the house of Jagannath Mishra could not be described by either Nordhananta or the Vedas. Loka deki shachigrihe sarvanadi jai Jaya nande hailataha kahana najai. The people at the house of Shachi and throughout Nadia felt so much ecstasy that it is beyond description. Kinagare, Kivagare, Kivagangatire, Niravadi Sarvaloka Haridwani Kare. Whether in the village or in the houses or on the banks of the Ganga, everywhere people continuously chanted the names of Hari. Hari, 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 Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha, Jamajatra Mahotsava, Nishaya Grahane, Anande Karena Kea Marmanai Jane. Everyone observed the festival of Gauranga's appearance while thinking they were celebrating the occasion of the lunar eclipse. Unknowingly they celebrated the appearance of Mahaprabhu. Chaitanyara Janma Jatra Falguni Purnima Brahma Adi E Titira Kari Ararana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on a full moon night in the month of Falgun, a day thus worshipped by Brahma and others. Parama Pavitra Titi Bhakti Swarupini Janhi Avatirna Hailena Janhi Avatirna Hai Lena Dvijamani. This day of Gaur Pranim is the reservoir of bhakti, is a very personified form of devotion. Bhakti Sarupini. And therefore, Parama Pavitram, this Titi, this Gaur Purnima is Parama Pavitram. Because the Supreme Lord, Radha Krishna Yuga Mahaprabhu, the best of the Brahmanas, appeared on that day. Nityananda Janma Mahagi Shukla Trayodashi Gaura Chandra Prakasha Falguni Purnamasi. Lord Nityananda appeared on the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magh. And Gaura Chandra appeared on the full moon evening in the month of Falgun. Sarvajatra Mangalari Dui Punyatiti Sarvashubha Lagna Adhishtana Hayat Iti. These 2 days, Nityananda Trayodashi and Gaur Purnim, are most auspicious because all favorable planetary conjunctions are present on these days. Ete ke dhui titi karile sevana Krishna bhakti hai khande avidya bandhana. Whoever observes these 2 days, does service, attains devotion to Krishna, Krishna bhakti hai, and freedom from the bondage to ignorance. Khande avidya bandhan, breaks the shackles of ignorance. Ishvarera janmatiti jehina pavitra Vaishnavera se mata titira charitra. As the appearance days of the Ishvara are purifying and sanctified, the appearance days of the Vaishnavas are also purifying and sanctifying. The Vaishnava Titi Charitra. Gaura Chandra Avirbhav Shune Je Jane Kabudukha Nahi Tara Janmena Janmeva Marane. Whoever hears about the appearance of Lord Gaura Chandra Avirbhav, will never feel distressed, dukhi, either during this life or at the time of death. Shunile Caitanya Katha Bhakti Phaladare Janmi Janmi Chaitanjara Sange Avatare. By hearing the Caitanya Katha, one attains the fruit of Krishna Bhakti, Bhakti Phaladare, and accompanies the Lord in his pastimes, life after life, birth after birth, Chaitanya or Sangha Avatare. One will, birth after birth, attain the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if he hears about the appearance of the Lord. Adi Kanda Katabara Shunite Sundar Jani Avatirna Gaura Chandra Maheshwar. The topics of Adi Kanda are most pleasing to hear because they describe the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Gaura Chandra, the Maheshwara, the Supreme Controller. E Savalilara Kavunahi Parichera Avirbhava Tirobhava Matra Kahivera Chaitanya Katara Adi Antanahi Deki Tanhana Kripaya Jai Bulana Tahaliki. Although the Vedas describe Lord Gauranga's appearance, quote, Avirbhav and Tirobhav, there is actually no end to Lord Gauranga's pastimes. I don't see any beginning or end of the topics of Sri Chaitanya. Chaitanya Katha Adiyanta Nahi Deki. I simply write down whatever he mercifully induces me to speak. Kripaya Jai Bolana Tahaliki. Now there's something in the purport about the eternal pastimes of the Lord. In Sanatan Shiksha Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 20, 381, 382 through 391, and 3 and 95, it says the consecutive pastimes of Krishna are manifest in one of the innumerable universes moment after moment. There is no possibility of counting the universes. But in any case, some pastime of Lord Krishna is being manifested every moment in one universe or another. Thus Lord Sri Krishna's pastimes are manifested, are flowing like the Ganga water, constantly, non-stopping. In this way, all the pastimes that are manifested by Sri Nandanandan. Krishna exhibits his pastimes of childhood, boyhood, and pre-youth. And when he reaches pre-youth, he continues to exist eternally to perform his rasa dance and other pastimes. Krishna moves with his pastimes through all the universes, one after another. The cycle of Krishna's pastimes turns like a wheel of fire. Thus Krishna exhibits his pastimes one after the other in every universe. Since all Krishna's pastimes are taking place continuously, at every moment, some pastime is existing in one universe or another. And thus these pastimes are called eternal. Krishna manifests his wonderful pastimes of appearance and disappearance at a particular time due to a particular cause. The mukhya karan, the principal cause, upadhan karan, of Krishna manifesting pastimes of appearance and disappearance is Krishna's desire to bless his devotees and spread the glories of his famous pastimes. Another principal cause for his appearance is to exhibit mercy on his dear devotees like Vasudeva and Devaki, who are constantly being tortured by formidable demons. Bhakta Sange Gaurachandra Pare Namaskar Ite Aparada Kichu Nahuka Amar Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Janna Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Parajuge Gan. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Gaurachandra along with his devotees, so that I may not commit any offenses at their feet. Accepting Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of the lotus feet. Chapter 4. The name-giving ceremony, childhood pastimes, and Nimai's almost kidnapping by some thieves in Mayapur. Jaya Jaya Kamala Nayana Gaurachandra Jaya Jaya Tomara Premera Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to the lotus-eyed Lord Gaurachandra. All glories to your devotees who are filled with pure love of God. Tomara Prema Bhakta Vrinda. Hena Shubha Drishti Prabhu Karaha Amaya Aharanisha Chitta Jena Bhajaye Tomaya. O my Lord Gauranga, please cast your glance of causeless mercy on me, so that my mind may worship you day and night. So for our minds to be peaceful and fixed on the Lord throughout the day and night, we need some mercy, Shubha Drishti, auspicious glance of the Lord, Shubha Drishti Prabhu. Then it's possible to do such uninterrupted bhajan. Hena mate prakasha haila Gaurachandra Shachi grihe dine dine bharaye ananda. In this way Sri Gaurachandra advented in this world, and the happiness in the house of Shachi increased day by day. Putrera Sri Mukadeki Brahmani Brahmana Ananda Sagare Donhe Vase Anukshana. Seeing the beautiful face of their son Nimai, Jagannath Mishra and his wife Shachi constantly floated in an ocean of bliss. Bhaire dekhiya Vishwarupa Bhagavan Hasya Karena Kole Anandara Dham. When the elder brother of Nimai Pandit, the most powerful Vishwarup, was referred to as Bhagavan here, Bhagavan Vishwarup, when he would see his brother, the reservoir of pleasure, he would smile and take him on his lap. So Lord Gauranga is an Anandam, the very abode of bliss, a reservoir of transcendental joy and happiness. And his brother would smile just by holding him on his lap. Of course, if anyone had such intimate association with Gauranga, they would also smile and be very happy. Jatapta vargache sarva parikare aharanisha sabetaki balake avare. All the relatives and friends of Nimai Pandit's family would gather around Nimai both day and night. Vishnu Raksha Padekeya, Devi Raksha Pade, Mantra Pade Garad Keha Chari Dige Vede. Various relatives and family friends would recite mantras to invoke the protection of Lord Vishnu for Nimai. Vishnu mantras, Vishnu Raksha Pade. Pade means, padas means lines or poems or mantras. And they would invoke the protection of Vishnu and also Durga Devi. And then they would chant mantras while circumambulating the house to make some vastu circle around the house, ring of protection. A Raksha Rekha, protective ring around the house of Nimai Pandit in Mayapur. Tavat Kandena Prabhu Kamala Lochan Harinama Shunile Rahina Tatakshan. Whenever the lotus-eyed Lord Nimai Pandit cried, Nimai would only stop crying upon hearing the chanting of the names of Hari. Harinam Shunile Rahena Tatakshan. Then he would stop crying. Immediately stop his crying. Parama Sankitae Sabe Bujilena Kandile Harinama Sabe Layena. As everyone came to understand this great mystery, this supreme indication, they would all begin to chant the names of Hari whenever the Lord cried. Because it was a special magic mantra to stop the child's crying. Whenever he would cry, they would chant Hari, Hari, and he would stop crying. And when they would stop chanting Hari, Hari, then Nimai Pandit would start crying. Sarva loke avarya take sarvakshan katuka karayeje rasika devagan. While Nimai Pandit Sachinandan was constantly surrounded by people, sarvakshan, at every moment, some mischievous demigods played pranks on them. Kondeva lakshite grihete sambhai chayadeki savabole e chorajai. One demigod secretly entered the Lord's house, and when people saw his shadow, they exclaimed, "There goes a thief! Narashinga, Narashinga!" Kaya kare dhvani. Aparajitara stotra karo muke shuni. Someone chanted Nashringa, Nashringa, and someone offered prayers to Aparajita, the goddess Durga. This was a custom. Whenever people were in danger, they would call out to Lord Nrsingadev. Tava kara kamala vare nakam Advuta Shringham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringham Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nishringadev Jaya Nishringadev Nishringadev Jaya Nishringadev Jaya Nishringadev Nishringadev Jaya Nishringadev Jaya Nishringadev Nishring Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Nana Mantre Keha Dasha Dika Bandakare Utila Paramakala Ravashachigare. Someone else would protect the 10 directions by a mantra, Dashadik Bandakare. He would bind the 10 directions with some other mantras. In this way, there was a commotion in the house of Mother Shachi. Prabhu Deki Grihera Bahire Devijay Sabe Boliye Mata Aseo Palaya. As the demigods left the house after taking darshan of Nimai Pandit, everyone exclaimed, "There he goes! There goes that witch!" Keha bole dhara dhara e chora jhai nashringa keha da kaye sadhai. Someone said, catch him, there goes the thief." Someone else repeatedly chanted, Nashringa, Nashringa. Ko noja bole aji idhaili bhala, o janas nishinghera pratapa vishala. One tantric, Oja exorcist, said, "You are lucky you escaped today. You don't know the great power of Lord Nrsingadev." Se kane taki deva, hase alakshite, paripurna haila maseka e mate. The demigods who were secretly standing there watching everything began to laugh, and this way 1 month passed. Balaka uttana parve, jatanari gan, shachi sange ganga snane karila gaman. On the occasion of Nimai Pandit's coming out of the maternity room after 1 month, the ladies accompanied Shachi Devi for a bath in Ma Ganga. Vadya Gita Kolahale Kari Ganga Snan Age Ganga Puji Tabe Gela Shashti Stan. As Shachi Mata and all the ladies went for a bath in Ganga, they sang and played musical instruments. First they worshipped Ganga, and then they went to worship Shashti, an imaginary village goddess worshipped to ensure the child would not die early. She's worshipped on Shashti, which means the 6th day of the month. Jatavidi Puji Sabha Devera Charan Ailena Grihe Paripura Nadigan. After properly worshipping the feet of all the gods, the ladies of Nadia returned home feeling very satisfied. Kai Kala Taila Sindura Guyapan Sabare Dilena Ai Kariya Saman. Mother Sachi then respectfully distributed roasted paddy, bananas, mustard oil, vermilion, betel nut, and pan to the ladies. The word I Karya Saman, is a corruption of the word Arya, which is an address for a religious pious mother or an Aryan mother. But throughout this Caitanya Bhagavata it has been reduced, Aryan or Arya has been reduced to Ai. Sachi Mata is known as Ai Ai. Balakere Ashishya Savanarigan Chalilena Grihe Vandi Ayura Charana. All the ladies then blessed Nimai Pandit, offered obeisances to Mother Shachi, and then left for their respective homes. Hinamate Vaishye Prabhu Apana Lilai Kaitanya Janite Pare Jarina Janai. In this way, Nimai Pandit Gauranga performed his pastimes. Who can understand them unless they are inspired by the Lord? Karite Chahe Prabhu Apana Kirtan Hitadarte Kare Prabhu Sagane Rodan. Nimai Pandit wanted everyone to chant his holy names, so he cried frequently to induce the ladies to chant Hari, 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 to stop his chanting, stop his crying. Jata Jata Prabodha Karaye Gan Prabhu Puna Puna Kari Karaye Krandan. The more the ladies of Nadia tried to pacify Nimai Pandit, the more he would cry. Hari Hari Bali Jari Takke Sarvajane Tabe Prabhu Hasi Chana Sri Chandra Vadane. Though these other pacification methods didn't work to stop Nimai Pandit's crying, as soon as they chanted the transcendental names of Lord Hari, Nimai Pandit would smile and look at them with his Sri Chandra Vadane, his beautiful moon-like face. Janiya Prabhura Chitta Sarva Jana Meli Sare Balena Haridiya Karatali. Knowing the heart of the Lord, everyone continually chanted the name of Hari while clapping their hands. Anande Karaye Sabe Hari Sankirtan Hari Name Purnahaile Shachira Bhavan. Everyone happily performed congregational chanting of the name of Hari, and thus Shachi's house became filled with the sound of the holy name of Hari. Hey Matavaise Prabhu Jagannatha Gare Gupta Bhave Gopalera Praya Keli Kare. As the Lord resided in the house of Jagannath Mishra, he secretly performed pastimes similar to those of Gopal Krishna. Jai Samaya Jakanana Take Geya Ghare Ye Kichu Takaye Gari Sakala Vitare Vitariya Sakala Felaya Chari Vite Sarvagara Bade Taila Dugda Gola Grete. Whenever there was no one home, the Lord would scatter things here and there, then pour oil, milk, butter, and ghee on the floor. Very chalak, very unpredictable, playful Lord. Nimai Pandit, when he was alone, he would pour oil and milk and buttermilk and ghee all over the floor. I'm sure Mother Sachi was thrilled with this. However, Jananiyai Sehena Janiya Apane Shayane Achena Prabhu Karena Rodane. When that clever Nimai Pandit understood that Mother Shachi was coming, he would lie down and begin to cry. Hari Hari Valiya Santwana Kare Maya Gari Deki Sabadravya Gara Gari Jaya. In order to pacify the crying child, Shachi would chant the name of Hari. Then she noticed the big mess in the room and she inquired, Ke Pelila Sarvagrihe Dhanya Chalu Mugda Bandera Sahita Deki Bangad Hari Dugda. Who has scattered this rice paddy and dal all over the house. Shachi also noticed that pots of yogurt and milk had been broken. Savichari masera balaka ache gare ke felila hena kea bujite na pare. No one could understand who had scattered everything. There was only a 4-month child at home, so certainly he could not have done it. Savaparijanasi milila tatai manushera chinamatra keha nahi pai. All the relatives came there, but they were unable to find a trace of who had done this mischief. Keha bole danava asijachila gare rakshalagi shishure narila langi bare. Someone said some demon must have come here, some Dhanava, but he was unable to attack the child due to the protective mantras. And kavachas, amulets worn by the Lord. Shishulangi barina Paya krota mane apachaya kari pa laila nijastane. Being unable to harm the child Nimai Pandit, that demon angrily made this mess and then ran away. Mishra Jagannatha Deki Chitta Baradhanda Daivahena Jani Kichu Nabalila Manda. Jagannath Mishra was very astonished to see the big mess, but considering that it was an act of providence, he remained silent. Daivayapachaya deki dui jane chai balake dekiakon dukkha nahirai. In spite of the great wastage of goods all thrown on the floor by that little boy, Shachi and Jagannath forgot all their distress when they looked at the face of their son. Emata pratidina karina kotuka namakara nera kala haila samuka. In this way Nimai Pandit daily performed some mischief, kotuka. And then the time for his name-giving ceremony arrived. Nam Karana Sanskar. Nilambara Chakravarti Adi Vidyavan Sarvabandhu Ganera Haila Upashtan Milila Vistarasi Pativratagan Lakshmi Praya Deepta Sabe Sindura Bhushan Nama Turi Bari Sabe Karina Vichar Stri Gana Boleye Eka Anya Bolayar. All the learned Vidyavans, all the learned persons headed by Nilambara Chakravarti and all Sarvabandhu friends and relatives came for the name-giving ceremony of Nimai. Many chaste women decorated with vermilion and effulgent as Lakshmi came for the ceremony. Everyone was considering what name should be given to the boy. The women suggested one name, the others suggested another name. Ihana aneka jeshta kanya putra nai shesha jai janmaye taranama se Nimai. Some lady said, since you have lost many daughters, this last-born child should be named Nimai. Balena vidvan sava karya vichar ekanama jogyahaya tuitehihar. The learned scholars considered for some time, and they suggested an appropriate name for the child. Hey Shishu Janmile Matra Sarvadeshe Deshe Dur Bhiksha Guchila Vrishti Pila Krishake. Since this child was born, all the surrounding provinces have been devoid of famine, and the farmers have had sufficient rains. Jagat Haila Shushta Ihana Janame Purvejena Pritivi Darila Narayane. Just as Lord Narayan previously delivered the earth, the entire world has become prosperous since the time of Nimai's birth. Atevi Hana Shri Vishwambara Nam Kuladipa Koshti Titiya Likila Ihan. Therefore this child should be named Sri Vishwambara. This name is also given in its horoscope. Nimai Jai Balinalena Pativratagan Se Namadvitiya Takive Sarvajan. The name Nimai, suggested by the chaste ladies, Pativratagan, will be his second name. The primary name is that given by the scholars based on his chart, which is the name Vishwambara. Sharva Shubha Kshanak Nama Karana Samai Gita Bhagavata Veda Brahmana Padai. The occasion of Vishwambara Nimai Pandit's name-giving ceremony was most auspicious. Brahmins recited Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Vedas. Dara Naragane Karaye Ekatra Mangal Haridwane Shankar Ganta Bhaje Sagal. Demigods and humans chanted the name Hari, and conch shells were blown and bells were rung. Danya Punti Kai Kari Swarna Rajatari Jata Daribara Nimita Sava Karila Upanita. In order to examine Vishwambara's preference, they kept paddy, a book, roasted paddy, money, gold, and silver in front of him. Jagannatha Bole Shuna Bhap Vishwambar Jahachite Lai Taha Darahasta Satvara. Jagannath Mishra said, "Listen, my dear Vishwambara, pick up whatever you find most attractive." Sakala Chariya Prabhu Sri Shachinandan Bhagavat Dariya Dilena Alingan. Sri Shachinandan left everything aside and embraced the Srimad Bhagavatam. By this action, Vishwambara Nimai Pandit established the supremacy of the Srimad Bhagavatam and disclosed his future pastimes of preaching the essence of Siddhanta from Bhagavatam, which is Krishna Bhakti. Pativratagane Jai Deya Charibita Sabe Bolena Vara Haive Pandita. From all sides the chaste ladies exclaimed, "Jai, Jai." Everyone predicted the child would become a great learned scholar because of his eagerness for taking the Srimad Bhagavatam. Keha bole shishu bhara haive Vaishnava alpe sarva shastra janibe anubhav. Someone said, "This child will be a great Vaishnava. He will realize the purport of the scriptures, Sarva Shastra Anubhav, in a very short time. He would attain extraordinary knowledge in all the scriptures." Jai Dike Hasya Prabhu Chana Vishwambar Anande Sanchitahaya Tara Kalevar. Whoever was blessed by Vishwambara's smiling face was filled with happiness. Jai Karaye Kole Se Edite Na Jane Devera Durlabe Kole Kare Narigane. Whoever took Nimai Pandit Vishwambara, or Nimai Vishwambara in their lap, did not like to put him down. In this way the ladies held on their laps. He was rarely attained by the demigods. Deva Durlabh, Kari Narigani. They were the Narigan, the group of ladies, Nadia Vasis, ladies, were easily able to keep the Lord on their laps, which even the greatest demigods find very difficult and rarely ever achieve the darshan, or even, what to speak of touching, but even the darshan they rarely attain. Prabhu Jai Khande Se Kshane Narigan Hatte Tale Diyakare Hari Sankirtan. Whenever Prabhu Vishwambar cried, the women immediately clapped their hands and chanted the names of Hari, Hari Sankirtan. Hatte Tale Diya. Shuniya Nachena Prabhu Kolera Upare Vishesha Sakala Nari Hari Dvani Kare. As Nimai Vishwambar heard their chanting, he began to dance on their laps. This in turn inspired the ladies to chant with greater enthusiasm. Niravadi Sabhara Varane Harinam Chale Bolayena Prabhu Hena Ichatan. Everyone in Nadia continually chanted the names of Hari, for they were induced by the desire of the Supreme Lord, Vishwambar Nimai. Tanitcha Binakon Karmasida Nahi Veda Shastri Bhagavate E Tattva Kahi. Without Vishwambar's, the Lord's will, no activities are successful. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Emate Karaya Nija Sankirtan Dine Dini Bade Prabhu Sri Sachinandan. This way the Supreme Lord Sri Sachinandan inspired everyone to chant his holy names as he grew up day by day. Jano Gati Chale Prabhu Paramasundar Gati Te Kinkini Baje Ati Manohar. The crawling of Prabhu Vishwambar Nimai was most beautiful, and the tinkling sounds of the bells on his waist enchanted the minds of all. Parama Nirbhaye Sarva Angane Vihare Givangi Sarpajaha Deke Taitare. Vishwambar Nimai fearlessly wandered throughout the courtyard and grabbed whatever he saw, even a fire or a snake. Egdineka Sarp Badite Vedai Darilena Sarpe Prabhu Balaka Lilai. One day a snake entered the house of Jagannath Mishra, and Prabhu Vishwambar, Lord Chaitanya, caught the snake in a childish sport. Kundali Kariya Sarpa Rahila Vediya Takura Takila Tara Upare Shriya. Then Vishwambar laid down on the coils of the snake. Ate vyate sabe deki haya haya kare shuya hasena prabhu sarpera upare. Seeing this, everyone exclaimed, "Alas, alas!" But the Lord simply smiled as he lay back on the snake. The snake is no one else than Anantashesh, Lord Balaram Sankarshan, the very personal expansion of Lord Krishna himself. Garuda Vali Dake Sarvajan Pita Mata Adivaye Karaye Krandan. All the people ran there and called out, "Garuda, Garuda!" And the Lord's parents cried out of fear. Even today, people take shelter of Garuda or chant his name to become free from the fear of snakes. Garuda, 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 Om Garudaya Namaha. Chalila Anantashuni Sabara Krandan Punadari Bade Jana Sri Sachinandan. Hearing everyone cry, Lord Ananta began to depart, but the son of Shachi tried to grab him again. Lord Sri Sheshananta Shesh accepted the form of a snake and assisted Gaura Sundar in his childhood pastimes. Dariyaniya Sabe Karilena Kole Chirajivi How Kari Nadi Gana Bole. The ladies of Nadia quickly caught hold of Lord Vishwambar and took him on their laps, blessing him with the words, "Live a long life, Chirajivi, Chirajivi How. Kaya Raksha Bande Kaya Parashwastivani Angekeya Deya Vishnu Parokaka Ani. Someone tied a protective charm on Nimai, and someone recited auspicious hymns. Someone else sprinkled Charanamrita on Vishambhara Prabhu. Keha bole balakera punarjanma hoila, keha bole jati sarp tena na langila. Someone said, this child Nimai has received a new life. That was a special snake and therefore did not bite him. Ase Prabhu Gaurachandra, Sabare Chaya, Puna Puna Jaya Sabe, Anena Dariya. Lord Gaurachandra glanced on everyone present and smiled, and tried again and again to catch the snake, but they repeatedly stopped him. Bhakta Kari Jehe Saba Veda Gopya Shune Samsara Bunjanga Tari Nakare Lagane. Whoever hears these confidential topics with devotion will never be bitten by the snake of material existence. Samsara Bhujanga. Hey Mata Dine Dine Shri Shachinandan Hantiya Karaye Prabhu Angane Brahman. In this way, Sri Shachinandan, Vishambhara Nimai, eventually began walking in the courtyard of his house. So I'll conclude here and continue with the verses describing the beautiful divine form of Vishambhara Prabhu, Sri Nimai, of Nadia, and some of his different activities as he's growing up to be a young child. Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Jai.